This is your weekly celestial forecast beginning November 7th, 2022. And to start off, we've got the moon in very stubborn Taurus with Uranus at 16 degrees retrograde with the North Node. And the tension is slowly building towards that full moon lunar eclipse the following day on November 8th. So let's jump ahead here. And we have now Uranus with the full moon in Taurus with the North Node. And that is making oppositions with the Scorpio stellium and especially involving the love and romance planet of affection, Venus in Scorpio. So they are both fixed signs, Scorpio and Taurus. And with the lunar eclipse, this only seeks to heighten our emotions and our feelings. And so we will have to be very cautious of stubborn behavior and fixity of purpose, and especially involving our affections and our feelings. We could become very overly sensitive, especially with this lunar eclipse now. And it's very important that we don't get lost in drama and emotion. And that involves not just love relationships, but it also involves family and work connections, all important connections. And then to add to that, we've got Saturn in Aquarius, and that is within this fixed sign T square. And what is Aquarius? It's about the collective, it's connected with the 11th house, our friends, and it is connected with technology. So there could be issues this week and in the coming weeks ahead, especially over the next 6 months to the next full moon in Scorpio, new moon in Taurus, the end of April and May. And so the future, yes, technology, computers will be very paramount, and issues with such, even the internet. And Aquarius is connected with our humanity and is connected with justice. So that leads me to believe that there may be issues with such our humanity or inhumanity, justice, and so on. And because we've got a Scorpio emphasis here, it is not the time to be very over the top emotional involving what? Our speech, and especially with Venus and Scorpio, with the Sun sensitive South Node and Mercury, Venus. It's the time we don't want to go out of our way to hurt or to control, because Scorpio has a tendency when hurt, because it's a very sensitive water sign, can kind of come back and strike back with sarcasm or very seething actions. So this is the time to do the opposite, become very loving, take the high road of Scorpio, kind of reach out and use compassion and love in a very nurturing way, especially with Venus in Scorpio. And instead of being kind of blunt, hurtful, or to the point within our speech, this is the time to uplift. And what is Scorpio also aware of? Transformation, to transform the negative to the higher, to the positive. And that is indeed what we will be focusing on now over the next month to 6 months, with this emphasis with the Scorpio Taurus full moon is to change and transform for the better and not get lost in disagreements and opposition, especially with the fixed emphasis. And what is Saturn saying here? Because Saturn is the planet of karma, and this is the time where we're going to have to be objective, and we are going to be focusing on rights, whether it be human rights, yes, animal rights, all forms of fairness and humanity. And we may find ourselves over the coming months getting upset because of issues within humanity and how we treat each other. And this is a time for, instead of being very touchy and disagreeing, this is the time to come together, Saturn in Aquarius, and really find the higher road than taking the low road of this fixed sign T square, because yes, indeed, over the coming months, it will be rather rocky. And to add to this, we've got Mars retrograde in Gemini squaring off this Neptune Jupiter retrograde as well in Pisces. And this is all about touchiness and kind of like the Scorpio emphasis, kind of being a little bit concerned about information that's hidden from us. And with the Pisces emphasis, Neptune and Gemini, the communicator, we will have to not be overly touchy or peevish. It's not a time to feel sorry for ourselves or self-deception, kind of seeing everything through rose-colored glasses, or someone that we have idealized. We must kind of shatter the illusions of what is really happening. It's good to be positive, but when you've got a square here, we may be not only deceived, but self-deceiving as well. So we don't want to keep secrets from each other, and we don't want to equally be overly suspicious, because this could set off separate disagreements aside of this very fixity T-square between Taurus, Scorpio, and Saturn. And if we do keep information now, Saturn is in Aquarius, and it's the planet of karma, and that does make a trine with retrograde Mars. So that's adding to our impatience and our need to be quicksilver in our actions and our thoughts and our speech now. But communication will be fast and furious this week for sure, and the coming weeks. But let's look ahead to the following days of this week. And on the 9th, Wednesday, we still have Mars in Gemini. Now we've got the moon in Gemini applying a conjunction. So as we head into Thursday, and we are feeling the tension here because of restless behavior, we are wanting to really speedily communicate and act restlessly. But we have to, in our zest for wanting to speak and act on Wednesday, we will have to be cautious and take a hint, especially Mercury and Scorpio, the depositor of the moon, and Mars. We will have to watch for this sarcastic atmosphere, this atmosphere of wanting to even the score, or this atmosphere of control. And be mindful of meanness and cruelty, and as always, take the higher road of the Scorpio emphasis, including Taurus, and that is about being more objective than narrow minded. Nonetheless, starting on Wednesday, we want to be on the go. We may find there's lots of communications coming in from all areas, whether it be, yes, work, love, the internet, but we are going to want to be very sociable now. And especially as we go into the following day of the 10th on Thursday, especially as the moon applies or approaches the Mars in Gemini retrograde, we're going to have to be also very cautious of public arguments. This is a time when we may hear about conflicts in public because Gemini is connected with the third house and the moon is connected with the public. And let me tell you, with the moon's depositor with Mercury and falling into that T-square, fixed T-square, and just after the lunar eclipse full moon, yes, heightened emotions are going to be the day, and we just have to just speak our mind, and in the process we may say or do something later that we may regret, and passion is the key word right now. And let's look ahead to the start of the weekend on Friday. And yes, we have the official connection, the meetup between Mars retrograde and the moon in Gemini. So yes, Friday as Wednesday and Thursday as it builds to a climax on Friday, it's all about even more restlessness. And yes, folks, because of the square off between the moon and retrograde Mars and Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces retrograde, do be very cautious of accidents when you go about now, especially if you are traveling. Make sure you have all your travel plans zipped up right. Everything is organized and well looked into, because on Friday we could be so impulsive and so restless that we kind of trip over ourselves and our actions, both in speech and action on Friday. So this is the time we must be very sensible and cautious in all our actions, especially since we still got that T-square and it is days later after the full moon and lunar eclipse in Taurus. However, let's look at some of the positive here. We've got the Gemini emphasis in air with the moon and Mars even retrograde. We've got Saturn in Aquarius, which is about our humanity, the collective technology. So on Friday and possibly over the weekend, especially Wednesday through Friday, technology and our communications with each other could be very rewarding if we tone down our speech. And it's a good time to really connect with each other, whether it's social media, whether it's in person. We're feeling very restless, and if we can remain objective and detached, then this could be a rewarding day for Friday. But if not, there could be communications breakdowns. That could be literally our communication with each other, but also connected with technology, computers, hacking, and so on. And as mentioned, do be careful while traveling, and we want to avoid any kind of accidents that could come about. So be very cautious and take things slow, starting especially Friday or just before. And now looking forward, we are in the weekend coming up Saturday the 12th. And Now we've got the moon in Cancer. So that's very good because from a week of suspicions, passions, a little drama and deception, however that may be, maybe a little bit of unfairness and conflict, we have this sweet applying grand trine in water between the moon in Cancer, the Scorpio stellium, and Neptune, Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. So this is very sentimental. We may get lost in sentiment, romanticism, and however, especially coming up on the following day, the end of the week on Sunday, this is kind of a dreamy atmosphere because now we have this sweet water grand trine, and this will be needed from a very busy, somewhat discord, week of discord at the end of the week. This will be very welcome because it's in water. We want to nurture each other, and the moon is represented with what? It's represented with the fourth house. We want to feel very secure. This is a time that we will want to support each other, nurture each other, and also we might want to beautify our surroundings, especially with this Neptune emphasis and water and the moon setting things off in Cancer. So it's a good time to do some repairs, some renovations, and really genuinely really try to heal ourselves and each other. And there may be much in the way of emphasis with that which rules the arts, music, art, beauty, and the like, and that which is connected with our emotions and healing each other, healing ourselves in a positive light. But one last note, we've got this Taurus emphasis with this full moon. So this week and in the coming weeks, we will have to watch our money and our investments because business and a change of possibly business, finance, the stock market, the like, a lot unexpectedly connected with our money, banking concerns, currency, and so on will also be big news. So hold on to your money, kind of be cautious with all kinds of investments and so on and so on. But folks, in the coming week following this full moon and lunar eclipse is going to be quite a ride. But at least for this week, on Sunday, November 13th, we will finish off in a positive direction for the future.